Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Construction Complete, a show all about Super Mario Maker 2. My name is Killjoy, and today we're back looking at the Super Mario Bros. 3 Remix series that I'm working on. And for those who don't know, this is basically a series of videos that is where I'm basically reworking a bunch of the old levels, or not necessarily the old levels, but doing levels in the style of, similar to those old levels. The levels you'll see will never be one-to-one exact, that's not the point, they're just meant to kind of give that feeling of similarity. There are some parts of the levels that are kind of ripped and copied, but I tried and put my own spin on them. So far, quite a lot of good feedback actually on most of it, so I'm happy about that. But 1-4, that's what we're looking at today. Now, 1-4 is the first auto-scroller level you encounter in the original Super Mario Bros. 3. And it's actually kind of hard to replicate the way that the platforms work in that level. So you see there's a platform here. The way that they work in that level is they scroll from the right to the left. When you jump on them, they fall down. Well, it's not possible to do that exact thing unless you put them on a track. But then when they're on the track, the only way to get them to drop off is by removing the track end. But I didn't want to do that, so I've kind of mixed it up a little bit. As with the other videos, the whole point is I will play through it. Then we'll go over what I've done in the level, then we'll critique it, and then I'll play through it again at the end. Oh, someone playing this exact level, who's not emo apparently. But all right, let me show you off this level.
Here we go.
Now you'll see with the platforms is that they are designed to drop. This is also the first auto-scroller level that I've made. This is one of my favourite levels I've made. This has probably taken up most of my time. And I will explain pretty much my thought process behind everything and why I've done what I've done. Just also point out, I'm actually using the Joy-Con for some reason today, which means there's a good chance my gameplay might suck a bit, but hey, whatever. Oh, look at that. Skills. Yeah, there's quite a lot of the use of these platforms in this. Primarily just Koopa Troopers as enemies, and then the clouds as extra platforms. There's a bit of familiarity with some of this stuff. Oh, balls. So you have it, there's the level. So let's go over it. So 1-4, like I said, is the first auto-scroller that you get. And the way that level is you start off on a platform, then you're jumping on these type of platforms. Which I cannot remember, just called platforms, I can't remember what they're called. And they drop. And then the entire level is made up of essentially the bricks. These things. Block. So, to start with, I was like, well, how do I emulate it? What am I trying to achieve with this level? Because this was one of the hardest levels I made, but also one of the ones I enjoyed making the most. Because it's an auto-scroller, so the level, you cannot do this level at your own pace. If I take the auto-scroller off, which I'll do later, and play through it, it's a very, very different feeling level. But because you have to wait for the camera, there is a couple things that I had to make sure that I could do. Because if you're playing with this level and you just bolt it, there's a very good chance you're going to land on one of these platforms, it's going to drop and you're going to have nowhere to go. So I need to have it so that hopefully it gives you enough time to realise that, and hopefully enough platforms for you to jump on and be able to essentially not die to the level, if you like. But yeah, so we start off, instantly I'm showing off what the gimmick is. You've got the auto-scrollers going at a slow speed, which you'll see here, the auto-scrollers scrolling at enough speed, so you've got all this time to figure it out, plenty of seconds, and then to see solid ground. So even when you do jump on one of these, you've got all that time to wait for the platform to come on. So yeah, the whole point is again, like with the other levels, is when you show off that gimmick, give the player enough time. If I take the auto-scroller off and you just bolt it, you're going to be able to see, probably miss this first platform, jump and run through most of this. But because it's an auto-scroller, you have to wait for the camera to catch up. Anyway, so you've got the first 2 dropping platforms. Once you've jumped on these, you're going to understand how the level's going to work. You're going to be like, oh, they drop, fine. But everything that I put in this level, the coins, the blocks, the enemies, is all designed to slow the player down so that they don't do this, which I will show you what I mean right now.
Here we go.
Because if you do this... it's harder to see. I'll show you now with this next platform. If I literally see this platform, oh yeah, that's a great idea. That's going to happen. So, everything that's here...
Here we go.
It's like, oh, I'll get the mushroom. By that time, this block scrolled on, you can see the next one, you can see the cloud. Now, this level's had the most changes because at some points, these clouds weren't here. Like, all these platforms between all of these, the ground platforms and then these air platforms, there wasn't there. So you literally had to wait here until you could see both of these on screen. They were also like, they might have been closer, they might have been further away. But yeah, you always had to deal with having to wait. So at least now what I've done here is put small platforms in here, because you want it to be slightly hard, but not to the point where it's like impossible. But I had these platforms here, so that if you did jump on here, you had a chance of making it to this ground, so you could wait for the next one to appear. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're basically going to die every time. Then you move on to this solid ground with these blocks. This is reminiscent of the original level in the sense that there were blocks laid out in this sort of format where they would have a Koopa Trooper on them. And you have a coin block here, and then you can use the Koopa Trooper to get a raccoon leaf or a mushroom depending on your size and power up out of there. And then brings us on to this bit. Now this bit I changed a lot because I wanted it to be like platform and then another platform here where the hand is. But I found that it just wasn't going fast enough. So if I was doing this, I couldn't like get across in time, so I had to put another platform there and then some land. Because otherwise, if you take away this platform, you jump and you've got to hope that you land here, or you have to hope that where this platform should have been was over here instead. So I really had to rethink about making the player wait, like I was saying. Like the whole point of the Koopa Trooper being here is that it's going to slow you down, hopefully enough, so that you can at least see this platform and this one. And by the time you've taken the jump, you're probably going to see this platform. So it's all about slowing down the player, essentially. And then this bit is just Koopa Troopers again, slow them down, because this bit here, with these double platforms, this is where I was having the most trouble with people playing the level. So I'll show you, like, do that. Oh, a mushroom. Oh, I missed it, never mind. But you can see like how quickly the level comes together. There's a platform there, platform there. For this bit, oh, whoops.
Here we go.
You'll see that when I was getting people to play it, they were like, "Oh, platform," expecting it to come on, and it's like, "Oh," and it was, yeah, it was too fast. So I added the Koopa Trooper specifically as an extra obstacle to think about. Like, you can maybe watch this pattern and jump on him. By the time you've jumped on him, you've got the 2 blocks, and now you can see the other part of the level. Like, again, the other Koopa Trooper that's there is to slow you down. Same with that one, to slow you down, to wait until you've seen that the sky platforms are there. And then when you see solid blocks, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you can see solid ground, it's less of an issue. But when one of those platforms is there, it's like, I need something to slow you down with. Now this one's probably the one that's left in there that's kind of tough, because I don't know how long it takes for you to see.
Here we go.
Yeah, so maybe that is still not great, but most people, I think, once they figure out by this point in the level not to just bum rush onto these and hope for the best. But again, just trying to always put these platforms about, generally with solid ground around, because it's really hard otherwise. If you remove all the solid ground, I couldn't have the platforms like this. I would have to have them as either something on a track going back and forth, or you can add wings to them, which I can't even remember what that does in this.
Here we go.
So they move up and down, and then they drop slower. So I could do that. That is an alternative, but I didn't want to. I wanted to have more of a basic static platform that would just drop. And then again, you've got this set of coins, the blocks here. This bit I had to change. So I had to change this because the Koopa Trooper, what would happen is by the time the screen would scroll,
Here we go.
you'd get across pretty quickly and then get got by him. Whereas what I changed was so...
Here we go.
You see the platform, you're going to wait until you see the bricks. Now, by the time you jump on the platform usually and get here, the Koopa Trooper is going to be a little bit further back. So I kind of moved... Oops. I kind of moved things around quite a lot at this point just to make sure that the Koopa Trooper... You weren't jumping across and always getting got by him. He'd spawn a little bit later than he was actually doing. And it made it a lot more fair, because otherwise every time I was jumping across, he was literally right there and you'd get hit by him every time. So it wasn't good. Now this last bit is probably, again, like one of the last bits where you, at this point, you need to realise that you have to wait.
Here we go.
You can't just do this. I mean, I was lucky then, but most people who try and just run and jump are going to die. So I'm hoping that by having this Koopa Trooper,
Here we
when
go.
there's something extra to avoid, hopefully at this point they're going to realise, oh wait for it to scroll on screen, and then they can see the land for the end of the level. And I didn't put anything here because I was like, nah, it's a bit cheap right now at this stage in the game. Something I will just point out really quick, this music, this builder music, is incredible. Sorry that I'm talking over it because it's so good. But yes, there you have what the level generally looks like. So we're going to go over it and talk about what I maybe could change, make better, what I like about it, that kind of thing, bit by bit. Ooh, off we go. I mean, all in all, I will say I'm pretty happy with this level. Now, this first bit I like up until this block because you generally have enough time to see what's coming up. Obviously, again, when you want to give people a good amount of time with showing off the gimmick. In this case, it's falling platforms. So if people
Here we
start the
go.
level, they're like, okay, cool. Oh, and they've already know what the gimmick is. They go, okay, those blue platforms are going to drop, and hopefully they're going to go, oh wait, I'm going to wait until I can see more of the level. Like I said, slow the player down. Like I can stand here for ages and see how much comes on screen. Oh, there's 3 platforms, all right. And I can do that. Or, if I wanted to be a bit more risky,
Here we
stand and be
go.
like, oh. And, you know, jump on these cloud platforms that are down here, and then do that. It really depends on how the player wants to play it, but I do want to try and give that options where you can wait much longer and see much further ahead, or you can wait less time and still be okay and not fall to your doom. At no point do I want, like, I want people to realise the entire time, when they're playing this level, the entire time, that there is a giant hole underneath. In this vein of the original level, where there is basically a giant hole under you. You're in the sky. So I'm not trying to make a cheap. I would never ever have it so like you're up on the top screen, you have to make a blind jump, because that's, to me, is not good game design for the style of level that I'm trying to make. No, I want to make it so it's like, hey, here are some safety little extra platforms in case you need to, in case you've gone too fast through the level. But I mean, all in all, I think the start of this and the sort of design of this, I like it very much. There isn't too much I don't like about this level. Like even this bit, very reminiscent of the old one. I like the fact that there's a Koopa Trooper there, which you then can use to get a raccoon and or mushroom out of the block, depending on what size you are. And you'll see that that is the first enemy you hit. So the entire first part of this level is me trying to get you used to the gimmick, or the player used to the gimmick. Going, okay, so there's your first 2. There's some coins. Oh, let's get this mushroom. Oh, we'll just let it scroll a little bit. Oh, there's another platform there. Okay. So at no point is there any enemies for like a good, what, 30 seconds? Maybe? I mean, you could do this, but you're probably going to see him. I don't know how easy it is to run into that dude. The raccoon is to make this level even easier, basically, because with the raccoon leaf you can do all kinds of crazy shit. You can just fly over there. One of my favourite things to do. And you can see just like how it changes the level already, because I don't even have to worry about anything. I do try to give a raccoon there as well, so you can get one a little bit earlier. But it does make the jumps a bit easier. Not that the jumps are too difficult, but I would say maybe this bit here with the double platform. Either maybe go with the singular platform. I'm going to try something actually, see what happens. Just stick you. I've not tried this,
Here we go.
so I'm not sure how this is going to work. So even that might just slow the player down enough to where they have to think about. They can see that there's only one platform there to wait, whereas like this, you might think,
Here we go.
see it, and it's like, uh-oh. But either way works. I just kind of like the design of having two next to each other. It sort of mixes up from them having the cloud platforms between each one. Or the ground platforms, I should say. This bit I like. It's just a nice slow bit of level. It's a little bit of breathing room. You don't have to. The Koopa Troopers aren't really in your way. You just got to jump over them or on them. You've got enough ground here. It's not like a massive, huge platform, but it's not going to fall away. And it slowly goes down to this part here, which is again pretty much ripped from the original level. I would say maybe this bit. Maybe moving the coin blocks over so they're a little bit earlier to see would probably be a little bit better. We could do this. Let's try this.
Here we go.
Because you're gonna have plenty of time here to wait. I have to wait until I see something, and then oh look. So you can do that. That way works. I can move this one over. One more.
Here we go.
Sort of, you're trying to get the player to wait on the stage just enough so that it's not going to get them to jump to their doom, essentially, but maybe changing up this platform layout slightly to make it just a little bit easier with the screen scroll. Same with this bit, but I think by the time you've collected the coins, you're probably going to start to see these bottom blocks. So let's have a look, actually.
Here we go.
Let's do this. Get the coins. I'm gonna wait, jump. Don't know. Maybe it's a little bit long. Maybe I do need to move those blocks over a little bit so that people can see it come on screen quicker. Same with the Koopa Trooper earlier. I actually kind of like the fact that when he turns up, it gives you plenty of time to see him. Hopefully, not a huge amount like if he was at the start of a level, but plenty of time to realise there's a Koopa Trooper there. And then this bit is maybe you add in some ground or a block or something just there, because I could see somebody definitely rushing doing this. So there is that potential of adding an extra block in there. I'm not going to, because I kind of like the fact that this is the final challenge. And it means that hopefully by this point they've got the hang of the stage. At no point do I think this stage is too difficult. I think for a new player of a style like this, getting used to the autoscroller is like the main key. Because really what I'm doing here is, if this was a real game, if this was in a real Mario game, I'm introducing auto-scrolling and I'm introducing falling platforms. This is the first time I've used either of those mechanics, so I have to give the player enough time to adjust to those mechanics before that final challenge, which is, hey, if you jump too early, you're just going to die, basically. I want to show what it's like without the auto-scroll, actually, so let's do that now.
Here we go.
Let's do it properly. I've not tried this, so I don't know what this is like. So let's give it a whirl. You'll see already, it just completely changes the speed of this level. And how much quicker I can just... I mean, obviously I know the level anyway, but just how much quicker I can just bonk my way through this. And that's one of the big things, is like when you are making an auto-scroller, it's a different mentality of like what you need to do. Like if I go and put it on fast, let's put it on the fastest speed. This completely changes up. I have to hold the run button down at this point because I'm not going to be able to catch. So this is more like if I was playing it normally, but even then you can still see me catching up to the far right of the screen. I've never really liked this faster speed. I find that like the only time I've ever had to use it was in an old level that I made in the first game. So that's nuts. even medium for this level is definitely too fast. But it's definitely not as crazy, which is always good. But I could use this, but then again, it's the first auto-scroller I made. I wanted it to be a slower level to try and teach the player. Whoops! To try and teach the player of that mechanic, being like, "Hey, you've got time. Don't worry about it." Like,
here we go.
see how much slower it is now? Like, some people that's going to be frustrating. But look how much time you've got before it's like, what's that, 99 seconds? Yeah, so you got about 9 seconds to jump. At which point at that, you know, you can see plenty of the level. That was a silly thing to do. But all in all, I'm actually really pleased with how this level turns out. I think it's pretty good. I definitely think there could be some slight adjustments to make the platforms appear on screen sooner. But I feel like that's the whole point of the autoscroller, and that's the whole point of those platforms. Like I said, it takes ages to get to that. In fact, let's just... I want to see how long it actually is to start on. Alright, so 299 is where it started, and I want to see how long it takes for that Koopa Trooper to come on screen. So we've got 10 seconds for no enemies. Looking at the clock and trying to play at the same time, not the easiest thing to do. So about 21 seconds before the Koopa Troopers on screen. So you've got 21 seconds at this level at the beginning to try and get used to how these work. Which I think is ample time, and also plenty of time to spot the Koopa Trooper. Like the red ones, you always get to see them because they're right on the edge of the screen. You've got plenty of time to work around them. I mean, all in all, yeah, I'm very, very happy with this level. Like I said, maybe some minor tweaks. I could maybe put like this set of blocks here over to the left, move everything over to the left by maybe 1 or 2. Here I could maybe move this stuff over a little bit, and then this one I could either have a safety platform or bring this across and move them closer to just make it a little bit easier. But I don't think there's anything in this level specifically that's tough, like not like super tough, not like having the auto scroll on the fastest speed. And it's something that I definitely spent the most time on this level. It's not that I didn't spend lots of time on the other levels. I got people in to playtest this level over and over and over, and it really helped because I did have some pretty hard jumps. You know, like when you have this type of platform, what are you going to do? You're going to go here and then jump? Or are you going to do the run up and try and jump? And like, I had the platform further away. Like where this set of blocks is where the platform, that falling platform was, or maybe slightly to the left, which meant that someone just doing a standing jump isn't going to make that very easily. They're going to maybe just get onto that platform. And so I kept going back and doing it, and then this is when Fruity was the one who's like, hey, you need to slow the player down at certain points. And I was like, okay. He was like, put an enemy in there or whatever. And he gave some really useful feedback, which is now what I try to use on a lot of levels, where it's like, if I want the player to take their time over a part, put in an enemy. It doesn't have to be like a specific one, but what are you trying to achieve? Well, I'm trying to make sure the player doesn't, there is at no point is the player going to feel like level killed them. I'm trying to get the player to, by the end of the level where the hardest 2 platforms are, they know I need to wait. And you can even see here, like, you've got these 2 platforms there, but when you start, they're already on screen. You can already see 1 and 2, so even if you run and jump to these, the likelihood is you're going to be able to do that. And that's pretty much the same jump at the end, just in reverse, except that you don't have as much time. So this level really really challenged me to make a good level, in the sense that it's like adding an auto scroll changes up everything. So very, very happy with it. I'm just going to play through it one more time, but as if I was playing it with completely small the entire time and walking, because whenever I test a level, I need to be able to get from the start to the end without any power-ups. And also I try to do it walking, because I hold the run button down the entire time, which I may have to at points here, but I want to do it in a sense that if I am a new player who's never played a Mario game in my life before, and this is the first level I'm introduced to, and I've got 10 lives or something, I want to be able to play it through it as I'm just jumping like this, like very casually enjoying my time with the level. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this turned out. It was enough feeling in this level to feel like the original 1-4, but it also feels quite different. It feels like a level in its own. And that was something that I really, really wanted to achieve, because I just didn't know how to make these platforms move in those directions without putting down tracks, which I definitely didn't want to do. because the problem with tracks is it's like they kind of look a bit horrible. I could definitely do it with tracks and have it much more similar to the original level, but instead I was like, you know what, I definitely want to do that kind of auto-scroll, but I think a different style of platform is going to be more effective, in which case they don't move, but they do drop still, so it's always good. There he is. Oops. You can see I'm not really using the float either, because I don't really want to, like, even as a first-time player, like, you're probably going to know about the float, but you're probably going to do this and not realise you can hit lots. But yeah, you go. There is Super Mario Bros. 3 1.4 remix. Sorry, 1.4. Very happy with how it turned out. It's a lot of fun. Like I said in all the other videos, the course code for this will probably be at the start while I'm jabbering on, and it'll be at the end in the credits part as well. So if you want to test out this level, you can. Obviously, feedback is always welcome, both in the YouTube comments and on the level itself if you've got this game, because I'm always trying to better myself when it comes to level making. I think it's really important to understand, you know, hey, there are mechanics that need to be changed. This is why I get people to level test my levels that haven't played Mario as much as I have, because I can build a level and be like, yeah, I know how to do that. But you'll see with a level I've made later on, I actually had to really go back and change some stuff because it got to a point where it became uncompletable, which you don't want. But that's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching as always. If you like this video, sorry, obviously feel free to hit like. If you want to see more of this content, hit subscribe. And yeah, again, comment below if you want to tell me some feedback on this level, or if you want to send me your own levels, do that as well. There's plenty more levels to be coming up, and this is a series I really enjoy doing. I like discussing over the levels and, you know, being able to critique my own stuff, because they're not perfect. None of these levels I'm doing are perfect, but they are trying to be in the style of the original Super Mario Bros. 3. But that's going to do it for me today then, guys, so I will see you in the next video.